Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so we'll start. Okay, only 30 are joined. Okay, okay, so I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the last lecture, we started with the unit number two, that is the block cipher. Okay, so in first lecture, we'll study the some basic concept regarding the block cipher, what is a stream cipher, and what is a block cipher. Okay, so just give a small review of the stream cipher. So basically, in a stream cipher, we can transfer the data. Yeah, we can transfer the information bit by bit. So at a one time, we can transmit one bit. Okay, so how it can be works, yeah, how the message can be encrypted or the decrypted. Okay, so based on the algorithm, so we can provide the various types of keys. Okay, so the key can be combined with our original information. Okay, so for in order to transmit the information more securely, we can provide the various keys. Okay, so the key might be 8 bit, 32 bit, or 64 bits. So we can use any type of a keys. Okay, so if we use the 64 bit keys for encryption, so at the receiver side or for decryption, we can also use the same size key. Okay, so in a stream cipher, we can use the same size key for the encryption as well as decryption. Okay, so based on this, we can also take a one example how the message can be encrypted. Okay, so we can take some binary data. Yeah, we can take some binary information, and this information we can encrypt it by using the key. Okay, so the basically the stream cipher can be used the XOR operation for encryption as well as the decryption. Okay, so different algorithms can use the various types of keys or the various types of operations for the encryption as well as decryption. Okay, so basically the stream cipher can be used the XOR operation. So by using the XOR operation, we can encrypt the data, and at the receiver side, same we can use the XOR operation for the decryption of the data. Okay, so it is a concept of stream cipher. And the second type is a block cipher. So in block cipher, if the information is more, so we can split the information into the small number of blocks. Okay, so if the information consists of uh, large letters, large numbers. Okay, so we can split the large information into the small number of blocks, and we can provide a same key to the each block. Okay, so if we split the large information into the small block, again we have to provide the key. Okay, so the requirement of this block cipher is that so we have to provide the same key to each sub block. So based on the key, so it can encrypt the data as well as it can decrypt the data. Okay, so this is the concept of stream cipher and block cipher. So also we can distinguish these two based on the various points. Okay, so the important point from these two cipher is that so which algorithm can be used for the implementation. Okay, so the block cipher can be used Fiestel cipher for its implementation, and the stream cipher can be used Fernam cipher for its implementation. Okay, so in a first unit, we can study the Fernam block cipher, how the information can be encrypted and decrypted by using the Fernam cipher. So that algorithm we can study it in our first unit. Okay, so the implementation of Fiestel cipher that we have to study in this second unit. Okay, so now we'll move towards the various algorithms. So the first important algorithm is the ideal block cipher. Okay, so the ideal block cipher basically use the number of input bits. Okay, so it can use any input bit. So depending on the input, we can design this particular algorithm. So we can use 4 bits, we can use 8 bits, we can use 32 bits information. So depending on the number of bits, so here we can design the ideal block cipher. Okay, so if the number of bits are 4, so ideal block cipher can use the formula as a 2 raised to n. So if the number of bits are 4, so the 2 raised to n, that is a 2 raised to 4, that is a 16. So it can use 16 bit encoder as well as 16 bit decoder. Okay, so 5 we can use this particular algorithm. So because we our basic aim is we have to secure our information, so we can transmit our information into the some coded format, so that format is not easy to read by the hackers. Okay, so we can store our information in such a way that so we can first map our information into the different bits. So here first we can use the 4 bits. So this ideal block cipher we have to design up to the 16 bit. So we can use the bits from 0 to 15, and we can map to receiver side with its different bits. So for example, we can map our 0 bit to the 14, then 1 can be mapped with a 4, 2 can be mapped with a 13, or 15 can be mapped with the 6. So here we can use the different types of mapping to split, to swap our information. So if we store the information in a such algorithm, so the hacker or the attacker cannot able to understand what kind of information can be stored into the particular algorithm. Okay, so basically there are two types of problems with this algorithm. Okay, so due to these two problems, we are not use these ideal block ciphers. So the first drawback of this algorithm is, so if the block size is small, okay, so if the block size is small, then the attacker can easily hack the information stored in that algorithm. So if we consider there might be only two blocks or four blocks, okay. So if the block size is small, then attacker can easily attack the security algorithms, and it can easily read the content from that message. Okay. On other side, if the block size is a large, so in that case, the implementation of this algorithm is too complex. Okay, so when we design this particular algorithm, so we have to take care that the block size should not be minimum, as well as the block size should not be higher. Okay, so for this purpose we can design the ideal block ciphers up to the 16 blocks, or we can use 16-bit encoder as well as 16-bit decoder. So if I have to use more blocks, so in that case the ideal block cipher can fails. So that's why we can use the another algorithm that is called as a Feistel block cipher. Okay, so by using this algorithm we can process our data. Yeah, we can use the number of keys, might be a 32-bit key, might be a 64-bit key. So we can use the different types of keys to implement this type of algorithm. Okay, so basically how this algorithm can be works. So here are the process to implement the Feistel structure. Okay, so if we okay, wait a minute. Okay, so now we'll understood how the Feistel block cipher can be designed and it can be worked. Okay, so everyone focus on your screen. Okay, so the flow diagram is visible to all. दिसते का व्यवस्थित? Yes. Okay. So in order to design such type of algorithm, so we require the plain text. That is, we require our original information. Okay. So the original information might be stored in a 8-bit, 16-bit, 64-bit. Okay. So here, for example, we can consider our original message consists of the 64-bit size. So in order to encrypt such information, so the Feastel structure can be used. So first we can divide our information into the two halves. Okay. So for example, if we use the information of a 64-bit, our plain text will be the 64-bit. So the 64 bits can be divided into the two equal parts. So the first bit can be divided into 32-bit, and the second part is divided into the 32-bit. So depending on the plain text, so we can divide our plain text into the two equal parts. So one is called as a left part and another is called as a right part. So here we can represent the left part as L0 and the right part as a R0. Okay, so how we can encrypt the search message by using the Feastel cipher? So first we can divide the input information into the equal blocks. So the left block can be represented with L0 and the right block can be represented with the R0. Now we have to use the specific key. So we can use the random key for the encryption. So whatever the information stored in a right side, that is called as R0. So that information we can encrypt with the help of key. Okay, so first we can combine the key with the R0, and whatever the answer will get, so that thing we have to XOR with the left hand side information. Okay, so once again I'll repeat the process. So first we can split the information into the equal bits, so L0 and R0. Okay, so after splitting the information we can add the specific key into the R0. So after adding the specific key into the R0, we'll get the sum function. So that function we can XOR with L0. Okay, so after XORing with L0, so we'll get the final information that's stored into the R1. Okay, so and R1 is shifted to the L1. Okay, so if we confuse with this algorithm, we'll take one example at the end, so the process will be more clear. Okay. So try to understand how we can encrypt the information by using the Feastel cipher structure. Okay, so this algorithm can have a number of steps. So first we can split the information into the round 1, then we can split same information into the round 2, round 3, round 4 up to the round n. So we can swap the original information into the number of rounds. So what is the necessity of this? So if we encrypt the message into the number of swappings, then there will be the more security of the information. Okay, so the same process will be repeat in a round second, then same process will be repeat in a round third, fourth, fifth, sixth up to the nth round. So we can repeat the same procedure. So here we have to understood only the process of a first round. So if we understood the process of first round, then next, second, third, up to the nth round, the process will be similar. Okay, so try to understood the process in the first round is that, so first we can split the information into the two parts, L0 and R0. So we can use the key with R0, and after adding the key with R0 we'll get the one function, and that function can be XORed with the information stored in L0, and that can give transmit to the next round. Okay, so the final information of round 1 is stored into L1 and R1. So whatever the information stored in R0, so that as it is passed in the L1, and whatever the information is stored in R1, so that we have to XOR with L0. Okay, so it is the first round. So the same process we can repeat for the next rounds, round 1, round 2, round 3, up to the nth round. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the Feistel algorithm. Okay, so if we go in a details, so how it can be used for the encryption as well as decryption. So it can use the number of steps, yeah, the number of rounds. So basically the Feistel cipher can used up to the 16 rounds. So we can swap our information in a 16 rounds. So we can use from round 0 to round 15, or from round 1 to round 16. So here we can design the two algorithms, one for encryption and other for decryption. So everyone focus on your screen. So if we go for encryption, then we can move from top to bottom. And if we go for decryption, then we can move from bottom to top. Okay, so the same process can be applied for encryption as well as decryption. Now how we can encrypt the message? So first thing is that we have to divide our information into the two parts. So here we can divide the information. Here we can divide our plain text into the two parts. One is LE0 and second one is a RE0. Okay, so first we can split, yeah, we can add the key to the right hand side information, and once we add the key we'll get the one function, and that function can be XORed with the left hand information, and this information is transmitted to the next round. So in next round again we can add the key. So if our round is 2, we can add the key 2. If our round is 15, we can add the key 15. If our round is 16, so we can add the key 16. So likewise, we can repeat the same process for the 16 times. Okay, so it is the basic structure of Feistel cipher. समझते हैं क्या? Have you understood it? How the Feistel cipher can be designed? Yes or no? Okay, so for encryption, so we can use from the round 1 to round 16. So the same process can be repeated in a reverse manner for the decryption. So again for decryption, again we can split the information into the two equal bits, left hand side and right hand side, and then we can repeat our same information into the 16 swapping, or into the 16 times. Okay, so at the output side we'll get the original plain text. Okay, so what is the need of this particular algorithm? So if we secure our information in a such algorithm, then it is too difficult for a hacker to read the contents. Okay, so in a basic algorithms, that is a Farnham cipher, Playfair cipher, so we can store the information. Yeah, we can apply the simple algorithms. So if the attacker can read these algorithms, then information can be hacked. Okay, so in order to transmit our information more securely, so we can design such complicated algorithms. Okay, so if we swap our information into the 16 rounds, so that information is too difficult for the hackers to hack it. Okay, so this is the main advantages of these algorithms. Okay, so why it is secure? So because, so we can repeat our plain text or our original information into the number of rounds. So we can swap the information in first round, then second round, third round. So in 16 round, we can swap our original information. So the content of original message can be changed. So it might be any sequence. So that sequence can only decoded by the receiver. So for that, it can use decryption algorithm. So the information can secure, or the communication is a secure in between sender and receiver. So for that purpose, we can use the multiple keys, and with the help of keys, we can secure our information. Okay, so I'll take a simple example how the information can be encrypted by using the Feastel cipher. Okay, or how the algorithm can be works. So here we have a one plain text. Okay, so here we can use the binary information to understand how the Feastel cipher can be works. So here we have a plain text. So it might be a 12-bit. Okay, so that plain text we have to encrypt by using the Feastel cipher. So there are basic four steps. So our first step is, so we have to split the information into the two equal parts. Okay, so everyone focus on your screen. So first we can split our information into the two equal parts. So the plain text consists of 12 bits. So the 12-bit information is split into the two equal parts, and we can provide the name as L0 and R0. So we can split the information into the two equal parts. One is called as left hand side information, and another is called as a right hand information. So as seen in a structure of Feastel cipher. So here also we can split the information into the two parts. One is a L0 and another is a R0. So likewise, our first step is simply we have to split the information into the two equal parts. Okay, so the 12-bit information can be split into the L0 and R0. Okay, so any doubt in step one? Okay, so now
No,
we'll,
sir.
okay, so if the structure of this Feastel algorithm is too complex to understood, so we'll take a one simple example. So by using this example, our idea should be clear how the message can be encrypted and decrypted by using the Feastel cipher. So first step is, so we can our split our 12-bit information into the two parts. Okay. Okay, so the 12-bit information is split into the 6-bit at left side, so that is stored into the L0, and 6-bit into the R0. Now our second step, so we have to swap the information into the number of rounds. So from round 1 to round 16. Now how we can swap the information? So in order to swap the information, simply we can change the position of our original bits. So it is our second step. So we have to encode the information stored in R0 with a function f. Okay, so here whatever the information stored in R0, so we have to encode with a particular function. So for encoding, we can use here in algorithm, we can use a key. So how to encode it? So in order to encode, simply we can change the position of particular bits. So first we have to encode the information that stored into the R0. So the R0 consists of 6 bit. So in order to encode it, so we can divide these 6 bit into the two equal parts. Okay, so first we can divide into 1 0 0, and the second part is 0 0 1. So after split these bits, we have to change the position of the particular bits. So the first bit we have to transfer to the second bit can be transferred to the third, and the third bit can be transferred to the first position. So simply we have to change the position of the respective bits. Okay, so these 6 bit stored into the R0, so we can split into the two equal parts. So first is a 100 and second is a 001. Okay, so we can transmit the position. So first look at the 3 bits, and after that we can swap the next 3 bits. So if we swap the first 3 bits, so the first bit goes to the position of second, second bit goes to the position of third, and the third bit can be goes to the position of first. So can anyone tell what is the swapping of 100? After swapping, what information we'll get?
010.
010.
Very good. And next 3 bits, 001.
100.
So ठीक है. So likewise, simply we can swap the position. So we have a number of rounds, round 1, round 2, round 3. So likewise we can do the swapping. So the first bit goes to the second, second goes to the third, again third goes to the first, and we'll get the information. So that information we have to XOR with the left hand information. So after doing the step 2, so we got the 6 bits. So first we have to write the 6 bit. So here we can combine the 6 bit, and that 6 bit we can store into the encoded function, that is a E. Okay, so now we have to move towards the third step. So comes toward our algorithm. So whatever algorithm says, so whatever the information in L0, so that information we have to XOR with the function. Okay, so here our L0, so everyone goes to our algorithm. So here L1, so the L1 can store the information of R0. So goes to the algorithm, goes to the flow. So whatever the information is L1, so the same information is in R0, that will be in a L1. So L1 can store the same information of R0. So here we can write the third step as L1 equal to R0. This clear? Okay, so now we have to find out the values of here L1 and R1. So L1 consists the information of R0, and what should be our R1? So R1 will be the information stored into the R0, so that we have to XOR with a function. Okay, so what is our function here? So the function will be the E. So the information in R1 is L0 XOR with a E. Yes, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first we have to look at the information in L0. So what is the information in L0? So that we have to write as it is, and that L0 information we have to XOR with a E, that is called as a function, encoded function. So here we have to first do the XOR operation. Okay, so what is the truth table for XOR? So if the bits are same, then we can represent 0. If the bits are different, then we can represent the 1. Okay, so the first column, there should be a 0 0, so the output will be 0. Second is 1 1, output is 0. So third bit is 1 0, so we can put a 1. So likewise we can do the XOR operation, and that information is stored into the R1. And at a final step, so we have to combine L1 and R1. So likewise we can do the encryption in a first step. Okay, so here we can complete only the first step. So the same process can be repeated for second round, third round, fourth round, up to the 16th round. Okay, so likewise we can encrypt the message by using the Feistel cipher. So understood? Okay, so these are the 4 steps for the encryption. Okay, so it is limited for only the first step. So again, same thing we have to repeat for the second round up to the 16th round. Okay, so likewise we can swap the information into the number of rounds. So if we swap the information, so the information, yeah, the stored information is too complicated, so that will only understood by the receiver. So for receiver, the receiver can use the decryption algorithm. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the Ferstel cipher. So by using these steps, so we can secure our information. So have you understood it? How the information can be stored or how the information can be swapped into the round one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we look at the structure of Ferstel cipher, so this example is only limited to the first round. Okay, so likewise, so we can repeat the process for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth up to the 16th round. Okay, so likewise we can do the encryption and as well as decryption. So due to the number of swappings or due to the number of rounds, so our information should be more secure. Okay, so these are the some basic elements of the Fiestel cipher. So how the Fiestel cipher can be more secure or how it can be used. What are the key parameters of this Fiestel cipher? So these are the number of key parameters of the Fiestel cipher. So due to this, the algorithm is more secured. Okay. So the first point is the block size. Okay, so here we can use the different block size. It might be a block size 2, 4, 6. So if we use the large block size, so our information is more secure. So one block is used for first round, second block is used for second round. Okay, so likewise we can use the number of blocks. So as the our we can use more blocks, so the swapping of data should be more. So that's why if the block size is more, our information should be more secure. Then second is a key. So again, in order to design the Feisal cipher, we can use the different type of keys. So if we use the higher size key, so in that case, our information should be more secure. So how we can calculate the key size? So there is a one formula to calculate the key size. Okay, so here is the formula to calculate the key size or key length, 2 raised to n into n. Okay, so if our information is a 4 bit, then 2 raised to 4 into number of block size. Okay, so if we consider the block size is 64, then 2 raised to 64 into 64. So that will be approximately near equal to 10 raised to 21 bit. So it is the actual size of key. So if our key size is more, okay, so the information or original message can be secured with more accuracy. But the one problem is with the key is that so if we use the large length of key, then the time required for encryption as well as decryption is more. Okay, so that's why we can use the limited size key for this particular algorithm. Then third one is the number of rounds. Okay, so basically in a Fiestal cipher we can use 16 rounds. So as we repeat the information into the number of rounds, so if we increase the block number of rounds, then our information also more secure. The next one is a sub key generation algorithm. Okay, so for sub key again, there is a concept of master key and sub key. So if the our master key consists of 64 bits, and if we divide the master key into the two equal parts, that is a 32 bit and 32 bit. So that is called as a sub key. So likewise, if we split our master key into the number of sub keys, then also the our information should be more secure. So next one is a round function. So the round function can be used for the encryption as well as decryption. So here we can use the XOR operation. So likewise we can use the round function repeatedly. In each round we can use the round function as a EF. So here if we look at the algorithm, so in each round we can use the one round function that is denoted by F. So if there are more round functions, so there is a more security. Okay. And next is so this algorithm is faster for encryption as well as decryption. So in order to do the faster encryption and decryption, will also require the that compatible software. Okay. So here we require the hardware specification for this Fiestal cipher. So if I have to encryption, we have to do the encryption and decryption in a less time. So we require the high computing softwares. Okay. So basically, so if we go through this algorithm, so it is easy to analysis, but up to the limited key size. So if the key size is more, then it can be too complex for encoding as well as decoding. Okay. So if the key size is increases, so if we use a 64-bit key, if we use the 516 key, so as the key size can be increased, so there is a difficult for encryption as well as decryption. Okay. So the Fiestal cipher can be limited up to the 16 rounds, so it can swap the information maximum up to the 16 rounds. So likewise we can use the structure of Fiestal cipher and we can secure our information by using these key parameters. So in order to make more secure information, we can increase the block size, we can increase the key size, also we can increase the number of rounds. So we can extend the round from 16 to 32, then 32 to 64. Okay. So if we increase the number of rounds, then also our information is more secure. But the drawback of this algorithm is that, so if we increase the number of blocks, or if we increase the key size, if we increase the number of rounds, then the time required for encryption as well as decryption will be more. Okay. So that's why the Fiestal cipher can be designed up to the 16th round. So we can use from round 1 to round 16 for encryption as well as decryption. Okay. Okay. So for this, we can use the next algorithm that is called as a data encryption standard. Okay. So that is denoted by a DES algorithm. Okay. So in a network security or in a cyber security, this algorithm can be mostly used. So it have due to its unique advantages. Okay. So this part we'll take in a next lecture. So this is a most important point from the unit number 2, that is called as a data encryption standard. Okay. So this data encryption standard will study in our next lecture. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask here up to the Fiestal cipher. So have you understood the concept of Fiestal cipher? Yes. Okay. So next part we'll take in the next lecture. So now we can put your attendance. Okay. Wait a minute. It's roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 absent, 10, 11, 12,
Yes, sir.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Yes, sir.
18, 19, 20, 21, 19, 20 absent, 20, 22, 23, 24,
Yes, sir.
25, 24,
Yes, sir.
okay, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 to 40. No one from 36 to 40. 41 to 45.
41.
Okay. 44. 46 to 50. 51 to 55. 56 to 62. Okay. So our ISC one should be scheduled on next week. Okay. So we have to finish the syllabus up to the first section. Okay. So up to the ISC one, we'll take the theory lectures. So once the ISC is finished, so we'll go with the practicals. Okay. So in next lecture, we'll continue with our DES algorithm.
Sir, 22 is present.
Yes, 22. Okay.
Sir,
Okay. So
37 is
yes,
37, sir.
37. Okay. So today we'll stop here. You can leave now.